You're listening to Sweep the League.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
What is up? It is the wacky, the weird Wednesday edition of Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. coming to you from Sweep the League Studios, and I've got my eyes on this AEW championship match with this blood and guts. I would say, what is it, War Games ripoff match that they've got here. Pretty good. It's the best match of the night so far. So everything else about AEW that I've been told to watch is just not as good as advertised from what people are telling me. Just calling it like I see it, man. I would think AEW would give a shot, but I'm not really finding it very interesting right now. But this blood and guts match isn't too bad. I'm actually enjoying it here a little bit. Appreciate everybody joining on. Jacob Erickson here. Let's get it. Definitely, let's get it, man. We got some stuff to talk about. We're going to dive into some NFL talk. We're going to dive into the NBA news that came out today, knowing that it's going to go back from to what, NBC, the rights, and they're going to actually TNT's pretty much done with it. It's going to be myself. It's going to be Derek Gervin as well, and Chris Gonzalez. Yeah, blood and guts is boring. It's been boring the entire time. This match right here, like I said, this War Games ripoff match is actually pretty good. So shout out to MCS General Contracting. Shout out to Special EFT, La Cocina Taco Truck, and Castro and Sons Solar, all sponsors of Sweep the League. Let's bring in the Hall of Famer himself, Derek Gervin. He's joining me tonight. Derek, how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, sir? Trying to get used to that Hall of Fame. I'm with my Spurs tonight.
That's good, man. You're wearing the Spurs gear tonight. That's awesome right there, man. That's fantastic. We got some NBA talk we got to get into. Obviously, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into some NFL talk, kind of go a little bit through training camps here. Maybe get a little bit talking to what we're going to see in the regular season. Maybe get your pick, early training camp pick to maybe Super Bowl. We'll get into a lot of that talk right now, but it's kind of weird, man. I was begged on Monday night, Eric, to watch this wrestling, this blood and guts AEW on TBS tonight, and it's lackluster, man. I'm kind of struggling to get through it here, so I can't wait to talk to the guys about the wrestling here pretty soon. So yeah, it's a big struggle, man.
Yeah, it sounds like you're gonna have to wait till the wrestling here at the Tech Center on September 13 and 14.
Yeah, might have to actually head out there to check it out, but this one's kind of a tough one to watch, man. It's pretty dang tough, man. We're halfway through the week, Derek. We got a couple more days here. You got any plans coming up for the weekend?
No, man, just trying to make it through the day. As you know, Wednesday, hump day.
I know.
Yeah, no, everything's good. The weekend, I got a game on Friday with my young people. Other than that, man, it's a relaxed weekend for me and get ready for the Olympics.
Yeah, Olympics are starting here, and it's kind of funny because we haven't really ruffled any feathers, but I know a lot of people are still either they're going to win bronze, they're going to win gold. It's you're a moron if you're going to win gold. We keep going back and forth on that, man. It's a tough thing.
Hopefully they'll do better than our soccer team, our 23 and under team did today.
Lost to France. I saw that.
3-0. I wish we at least got off the schneid, as they say, at least got one goal. But, hey, I guess we move forward and try to win the next one.
Soccer for Americans has gone downhill fast, hasn't it? From the days of Alexi Lalas and, all those guys. It's just gone downhill quick, man.
Well, they used to have a guy who was supposed to be the next phenom at 14 years old, but it looks like a new one instead of Freddie Adu. Yeah. We got another young man who just came on the scene, so we'll see if he can help restore USA soccer so we can get back to the pinnacle where we belong.
Yeah, man, it's crazy how far USA has dropped. Now, I know soccer, obviously soccer is an international sport. It's very popular international, very popular in Mexico, South America. So I mean, it's basically their sport. I know that, but man, just like I said, to see how quickly the USA has fallen from the soccer world, it's just sad. And I tend to see a lot of the older guys, Alexi Lalas and them, just arguing and trying to figure out how do you bring soccer back. I don't even know, man. I mean, you've got I've seen talented players play here. I just don't know why we've struggled so much in soccer, to be honest with you. Even the women, I think the women are kind of struggling.
Right now, yeah, they've been struggling as well. I don't know if Rapinoe brought some bad luck on us or not, Megan.
Oh, yeah.
we've been struggling a little bit, so hopefully we can turn it around in this Olympics.
Yeah, Chris Gonzalez is saying USA under-23 has never been good. Again, I don't really follow much of soccer, but, I have noticed that the soccer world has kind of taken a beating for the United States here. Shout out to our sponsors, MCS General Contracting, Special AFT, Castro and Son Solar, and La Cocina Taco Truck. And we all are all partners of Locked On Spurs. Shout out to Locked On Spurs as well, Jeff Garcia. Let's get into a quick NBA bump here, Derek, because we got an NBA topic to take care of first. All right, maybe we didn't play right there. There it goes. I was wondering what happened to the bump there. So the NBA. So basically TV rights. We are going to see the end of TNT getting the NBA rights. It's going to go back to what? NBC. We're going to get the John Tesh jingle back. Everybody missed it. It's back. You're going to get, the Sunday games and all this stuff now. So I understand that. And I don't know. I mean, people are upset about TNT mainly because you lose inside the NBA, that show, which it's a good show. It's a great show. But then you've got talks of Amazon wanting to buy the rights to inside the NBA. I can see Shaq. I can see Kenny. I see Chuck leaving. I don't see Ernie Johnson leaving. Ernie Johnson is TBS. He is Turner. I don't ever see Ernie Johnson leaving. Can inside the NBA actually survive without Ernie Johnson going if they end up going to Prime?
Well, I know Shaq is popular and Kenny and Charles, but to me, without Ernie's the guy, the glue, I'll call him.
Yeah.
Without him, no, I don't think the show would do as well. Ernie keeps everything in line, man. I mean, he's a really good guy, and he's great at his job. And we know I don't see him ever leaving TNT until he retires. So it'll be different. But without Ernie, no, it wouldn't be the same. It just wouldn't have the same feel, the same kick. Not for me, it wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel the same for me either. I think it's Ernie Johnson, man. I mean, he is TNT. He is TBS. He's Turner. I mean, inside the NBA was really Ernie's baby. I really hope they don't sign or they don't buy the rights to inside the NBA. That's going to be Turner forever for me. So I would just hope that they would start something all over again. But nonetheless, we get one more year of inside the NBA. We get one more year of Turner. Good or bad move to go, to basically leave Turner, leave cable, because a lot of it's going to be streaming now. You're going to be able to stream basketball games, which streaming is the new thing. I mean, we see NFL football being streamed on Prime. You've got YouTube TV that has the rights to the Sunday Ticket. So, I mean, good or bad move for the NBA, do you think? Because the NFL had a lot of struggles in the beginning when it went to streaming services. I'm hoping the NBA doesn't have the same kind of effect.
I'm sure they did their due diligence before, but I mean, you don't know until it actually happens. They must think that they've hit a gold mine, so I'm going to trust them. But as we know, sometimes what you think is a gold mine has a tendency to backfire.
Yeah.
But I'm going to support them because I know they did a lot of research and all that. But we got to see it till it actually happens, man. People can say they're going to support this and support that. And then when it actually goes down, people have a change of heart. So I'm hoping it works out. But like I said, hopefully they did their due diligence. And I'm going to trust these guys, and hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah, you can call us here at Sweep the League, 830-499-1852. The line is open, 830-499-1852. It's Hall of Famer Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, search at Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 200 subscribers. After that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When we get to 1,000 subscribers, that's when the cash flow starts going out to you guys. We promise cold hard cash once we get to 1,000 subscribers. Chris Gonzalez is in here, Derek, saying USA soccer struggles because it's a pay-to-play sport. Young, talented players do not go straight to and major competition like in Euro. Spain had 16-year-olds starting. So that's also true, too, the pay-to-play on the sports side. I mean, it's kind of funny. I had to talk to a friend of mine. My daughter's getting into volleyball. And I was like, hey, how about these clinics? So your daughter does clinics, and what does it cost? Come to find out that some of these clinics and these teams, these organizations they get into, $2,500.
Yeah, they charge an arm and a leg.
And I'm thinking like, holy cow. I mean, I'd rather you just play for school. But in today's game, if you want to get noticed, you've got to get into some of these groups, right? I mean, you actually coach in a lot of basketball. So, and you're still active in there. Is that the way to go now, is putting these kids in a pay-to-play situation?
Well, that just tells me you won't have a lot of kids from the inner city, so to speak. It sounds like, that's very expensive. You're talking $2,500, and that might even be on the low end.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, man. Golf and soccer, those are games that are very expensive, but only over here. Because if you go overseas, the soccer is not as expensive because that's what they're used to, and that's what they've done. And, that's the biggest sport overseas. But here, we got a lot of catching up to do, and we're not going to catch up. When we charge people an arm and a leg, it makes people not want to get involved. And they're not going to tell their friends to get involved because they don't want to, so to say, mess their pockets up. but that's a lot of money, man. I mean, you got to kind of lower it if you really want people to start getting involved in it.
But what does it really cover? I mean, they say it covers travel, it covers uniforms, it covers this and that, but essentially it doesn't cover all the travel. I mean, the uniforms maybe, but I mean, you're not getting $2,500.
It's covering somebody's pocket. Somebody's making a good living by trying to get getting people more involved in soccer. So maybe they're doing it just for their pockets. But that's not going to grow. When you spend a lot of money or charging a lot of money, that's not going to grow the game in this country. And it's definitely not going to grow it quick, because you got people now that's more, you got people that's finally tuned into the WNBA that's spending money.
Yeah.
You got people that's spending on NFL. And it's only so many things people are going to stay attracted to for a period of time. And when you're trying to get them in the door, I think charging outlandish prices, I don't think that works.
Yeah, it's tough. And I kind of, I talked to my daughter. I was like, you're going to play for school. She's playing for school right now. They're in training for volleyball. And I just thought, man, she's doing really well for her first year. She's actually picking it up. She's doing fantastic. I love it. I thought, you know what? Let's go for a team here. Let's maybe go, the clubs and everything for volleyball. Then come to find out it's that much money. I'm like, whoa, okay. I want you to be good, but I know as a parent right now you're not elite. So I don't know if spending the money is actually a good thing to do.
Or they trying to get y'all to help buy a new stadium or a new field or new goals. So, I mean, that's a lot of money.
That's for volleyball.
They need to explain where all that money's going. It always looks good when you can see it on like a spreadsheet, what's been spent for this and what's been spent for that. Because people don't want to just be giving their money away today. And then you got a coach that, I'm not saying that's happening to it, but some, they pocket a lot of that money. Yeah. And I know a lot of the parents worry about that. If you're going to spend your money, your hard-earned money, man, you want to at least be getting your money's worth. And that means your kid getting a real opportunity to learn the game and to continue to grow in the game.
Yeah, and what's cool is here in Seguin, where we live down the street from the Tiger Complex, and it is nothing but volleyball. Like nothing. All they do is coach volleyball there. So I think we're gonna put her there for a little bit, get her some more experience. But yeah, man, $2,500 is a lot. Speaking of money, Jeff's in here from Locked On Spurs. Rudy, did TNT do this to itself when they said they didn't need the NBA? Derek, the thing about TNT is, all they're going to be left with is March Madness is what they're going to be left with. I think they're getting some NFL, no, college football. They're getting college football on TNT, but to let go of the NBA, I'm going to say this, and you can stop me if I'm wrong here. I don't have a problem with TNT giving up the rights because players' salaries are getting ridiculous. So that means that TV deal is going to be massive. Do you really want to pay that for 10 years? And you're talking probably in the billions for 10 years. I don't think as a business, I don't know if I'm willing to do that, knowing I can still get eyes on my network through college football, through March Madness. March Madness is going to bring everything that I need for the entire year just alone in that. But to get college football, I'm spending my money in other places, probably smarter. Is that the right way to think about the TNT deal? Saying, you know what, thanks, but no thanks. It's getting very costly.
Well, evidently TNT thought they could make it without the NBA, just like they said. And who knows what they have planned? I mean, they do the movies, they do this, they do that. You got your March Madness. Who knows? In the future, maybe they're going to be trying to add WNBA or whatever it may be.
Perfect.
I've thought about that. So there's a reason the WNBA will come cheaper than the NBA.
Yeah.
And right now, I would say it's a better product. So maybe they know something we don't know. But TNT, as we know, has been around for a long time. And it's continued to ascend and stay at the top. And I think they got some good ideas that maybe we don't know about, but to lose the NBA, I think is big. But evidently, they're willing to mortgage their basketball or NBA basketball for something else. And football is going to do well. College football.
Oh yeah.
Do well. So maybe they're making a choice. They decide to go with college football over the NBA.
I totally agree. And you brought up a great point. The WNBA, as popular as the WNBA now, it's just going to get even more popular. Then you have expansion from the WNBA. So, I mean, yeah, I agree with that 100% that they're probably going to put their money towards the WNBA, which is a product that's growing and growing right now. So, yeah, college football is going to get them. March Madness takes care of it. You get a WNBA product there. You can also possibly go because you got to remember Turner, they own the Braves. So they're going to get baseball games in there as well. I think they still have rights to possibly the World Series or some of the playoff games in baseball. So yeah, they've got different things, but I really think at the end of the day, it's just a matter of the NBA is so big and you've seen the players. I mean, we're about to see our first $100 million a year player pretty damn soon here.
Really
so
soon.
Yeah, so to know that's going to happen, then you're going to start seeing the trickle effect. $100 million here, $104 million, $105 million a year. These guys are going to get paid. It's got to come from somewhere. A lot of it's going to have to come from the TNT or the TV deal. So, yeah, I agree with TNT kind of backing out here. I really understand why they would do it, and it makes sense. It does make a lot of sense to me in here. We got Joel Colon in here. He's saying the peak of USA Soccer was Donovan's goal versus Algeria. Landon Donovan. Yeah, I mean, it's always like that. That's why I said the soccer, USA Soccer has gone downhill for me. And that's kind of what I've seen. And I really wish it never would have gone downhill. But, I mean, how do you fix it? That's the problem. It's how do you fix USA Soccer? It was prominent for a while there.
I don't know, man. It's just I don't know if we're getting the right people to come out. And, well, maybe they're not putting the right people together. I'm sure you got the right people that, a lot of the really good players that are trying out. But sometimes the chemistry doesn't mesh. And that's what it seems like we're going through right now. You got all kinds of stuff going on today, man. Video games. I mean, I don't know how you fix it, but we better do some fixing soon because I'm used to USA at least going for the gold and having the chance to attain the gold medal. And lately we haven't had that opportunity. And the women struggling as well makes it, it's been difficult. So they got to figure it out, and they got to figure it out quickly, kind of like our men's basketball team.
Yeah, and we got Chris Gonzalez talking about the WNBA is going to a possible 44 games and expanding teams. That's why I think the Turner deal, and like you mentioned, might be worth it for the WNBA. More games to broadcast. You're jumping on, you're piggybacking off the success right now that they're having. expansion teams. It just makes a lot more sense for a major network to come in and take majority of these games there. So I do understand that. Joel Cologne's in here. From a fan standpoint, streaming the NBA could cause issues with real-time reactions because not everybody will be watching at the same time due to streaming speeds and such. And that's my issue. My problem is I have YouTube TV. So, when I'm watching a game, and there's been a couple of times you've called me and you're like, did you see that play? And I'm like, yes, I have now. I saw it now. That's the problem I see. And that's why I'm not too confident in the streaming service. It's got to do something with the speed. It's got to get better.
Hey, I watched Asia Wilson do an interview the other day.
Yeah.
And I thought we were over in Korea or somewhere, man. She's talking. I'm like, is Bruce Lee? Are we in the Bruce Lee movies? She's talking, and then it's all delayed and stuff. Her mouth is not matching the TV screen. So they got to fix that, and hopefully they can do that like ASAP.
Well, it's also, it's with broadband speed. You got to have fast internet. You got to have this and that, but it's got to be something that's got to be fixed on there. I get it. It's not regular TV. It's not cable. So it's going to be a little bit slaggy and a little bit behind. But, I hate the fact when you're into a game, and it's happened to me before watching the NFL, and you're right on the play, you're getting ready to score, your team's there, and then all of a sudden it starts loading. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell, man? Come on. Then it picks up right where I left off. And I like the idea. Everybody's going to mobile. Everybody's streaming. I get it, but man, it's got to be fixed. And I hope the NBA has it right. This is kind of a thing I saw Joel post here. And again, I don't find this disrespectful, but I do understand what he's saying. I've always thought the lower the rim, the 9 feet for the ladies, that would make the league a lot more entertaining. I don't see it. I see it entertainment wise because you get a lot more dunks, you get a lot more of this, you get a lot more of that. But I don't necessarily like it. I understand it. Why? You're trying to make the game more watchable, but that was before this season for a lot of people. To get the game to be watchable, you have to have a damn good product. And right now it's getting to be a really, really good product, and it's going to continue. So I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm arguing with Joe on that. Again, if you want to have success, you've got to make changes somewhere. I don't know if lowering it to 9 feet is the right way, but I get the idea.
The ladies want to compete with the men, Joel. So that's what they're doing right now as we watch it. The WNBA is trying to get up there with the big boys, as they say, and they're doing a great job. These ladies don't want to play on the 9-foot rim. This is not middle school basketball. They are professionals getting salaries and trying to increase the salaries. And 9-foot rim wouldn't even make the dunks that exciting, because then we'll be talking about, she wouldn't have been able to do that on the 10-foot rim. So sometimes change is not always good, man. And I like the game the way it is. The ladies' game is booming right now, and it's booming at 10 feet. It's booming with the floor being 94 feet by 50 feet. And I want to see them leave it like it is, and we just continue to help the ladies out by doing this, using these eyes, and continue to tune in. That's how the sport will get better.
Yeah, like I said, I do see reasons to make it a better game and to help promote the game, but you're right. They've been playing on 10-foot rims their entire life, just about.
How could it be more important? How could it improve, though? We just watched maybe the best All-Star game that we've seen in the women's game.
That is very true.
How much more? It's already improving. So they say don't leave it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah. And right now it's not broke. What we need to be breaking is figuring out how our NBA team, the men, are going to start competing and taking this game a little more serious. The women's game is booming, and don't mess with something when it's booming.
Yeah, I appreciate Joel Cologne in here. Everybody in the chat right now, appreciate all the comments. We're getting a lot of comments here. We're going to get to all of them here. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we've got Locked On Spurs. He wants to talk about NBA expansion rumors. Then the MLS, we think MLS will ever come back to SA. We've got Chris Gonzalez and Joel Cologne also dropping some comments in here. We'll get to your comments here on the way back. This is Sweep the League, the Wacky Wednesday edition of Sweep the League. Hall of Famer Derek Irvin Non-Hall of Famer Rudy Campos, not yet. One day I will be there. One day, hopefully, I'll make someone's Hall of Fame. When we get back, we're going to talk some MLS. We're going to talk about NBA expansions. This is Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos, Junior Sweep the League. We'll be back. Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting. Building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Spurs fans, are you ready to stay ahead of the game of the San Antonio Spurs with the best coverage in the business? Tune in to Locked On Spurs, the daily podcast that brings you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and all the latest news and updates for your silver and black. Join Jeff Garcia, the most informative and entertaining host in the game, as he breaks down all Spurs news and notes, interviews the biggest names, and keeps you locked into all things Spurs. From Monday to Friday, get ready to start your day with the best Spurs coverage in the business. Don't miss out on the expert opinions, the hot takes, and the can't-miss guests. Make sure you're locked in with Locked On Spurs. Subscribe to their YouTube channel now and stay ahead of the game all season long. Locked On Spurs. It's the best Spurs coverage in the business. Don't miss out.
The mastermind got the team what we need. 5 rings deep, we the dynasty kings. From the Alamo Dome to the banners we bring. Respect the.
All right, welcome back to Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr., Hall of Famer Derek Irvin, joined here on Wacky Wednesday. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, Special Leaf Tea, La Cocina Taco Truck, Castro and Sons Solar. Also, shout out to Locked On Spurs, dropping some of the comments tonight. Shout out to Jeff Garcia as well. Next segment is brought to you by both MCS General Contracting and La Cocina Taco Truck. The foundation is key for MCS General Contracting. A great foundation is a great start to life, family, home, no matter what it is, your business. The foundation is the first piece of the puzzle to drop. And that is where MCS General Contracting comes in. Also, La Cocina Taco Truck, the best street tacos and quesadillas, not just in New Braunfels, but in South Texas. It's a short drive to get you satisfied to New Braunfels, where Louie and his staff will take care of you at La Cocina Taco Truck. Derek, we're going to get into some expansion here with Jeff Garcia. He brought it up here. He says, what are your thoughts on NBA expansion rumors? Rumors Seattle, Vegas, Mexico City, and one other are in the mix to get a franchise. Now, I think before we can comment on expansion, I think they go with 2 teams, and I think it's going to be Seattle and Vegas to get the 2 expansion teams, which means that you're going to probably move Memphis to the east. And then would you move Minnesota east? Is that ideal? Or maybe, I don't think you would move New Orleans over. So it probably would be both Minnesota and Memphis out east, bringing in Seattle and Vegas as an expansion team.
You never know, because I remember when George played, even though we're in San Antonio, they were in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was crazy. I'm like, wait, we got Texas City in the Eastern Conference. But I don't know. But I do hope they bring in definitely Seattle. And I think the timing is right for Vegas. Vegas has become the sports capital over the last few years. But I really think they deserve a team in Seattle. I used to look forward to going to Key Arena and whatever other gyms they built after that. I was a big Seattle fan. I just thought basketball and Seattle kind of went hand in hand. And it's a little sad to see them now have basketball in Portland, but not have it in Seattle. So I'm hoping they get an expansion team. And I'm pretty sure Vegas will be getting one as well. And the other franchises, I don't know. Where we're going to get another franchise, Mexico City or St. Louis? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they go with 2 NBA expansions. So I think Seattle and Vegas make the absolute most sense. If they go anything beyond that, Mexico City, I can definitely see an international team. And you're right. I mean, the heart of the United States, St. Louis would be a good spot to go to. Again, you could put St. Louis in the Eastern Conference and then go to the Western Conference, basically, for Mexico City. But I do think Seattle and Vegas, and speaking of Seattle, it's good to comment, Seattle should have never lost their team. That was a travesty. It really was, man. The Sonics. You and myself and Gio, we talk a lot about opening up the vault when it comes to basketball and the Sonics. I mean, you're talking, 1979 is when the Sonics won their first title, or their only title, if I'm not mistaken, with Lenny Wilkins as their head coach. I mean, the players that have come out of Seattle, you're talking anywhere from, Williams, you're talking, Eddie Johnson was a Sonic at one time, wasn't he?
That's scoring Eddie, the 6'7" Eddie Johnson. Yeah, so people don't confuse him with the current, there's one Eddie Johnson that's currently incarcerated. They've been confused before. One is a 6'2" guard, 6'1", 6'2" guard, Atlanta Hawks. The other is the Eddie Johnson, 6'7", who's still doing broadcasting.
Yeah, I actually listen to Eddie on Sirius XM from time to time, and he's a crazy guy on there. I love listening to Eddie Johnson.
Really good.
Yeah, he keeps it real. And when I say keeps it real, you can call into the show and you can say something, and he'll put you in your place really, really fast. And I've always had those thoughts. I don't want to call in to him in Germany because I don't know if I'm going to say something wrong here, but nonetheless, Eddie Johnson. I mean, you've even got like Detlef Shrimp, the Sean Kemp years. I mean, you're talking Gary Payton, Nate McMillan,
Perkins, Sam Perkins,
Sam Perkins.
We can go on and on.
One of the most underrated dunkers that people don't give a lot of love to is Desmond Mason.
And I never understood why when they have all these top dunkers, they never have him in there, even though he's a dunk champion.
Yeah, definitely.
So they disrespect him, but they disrespect the city of Seattle. And for them to even go to Oklahoma in the first place, I think a lot of people forget Kevin Durant was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah, he was. He was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics. You can't forget guys like Ray Allen as well. I mean, there's just so many guys. One of my favorite players from way back then, I've mentioned him on the show before, was Dana Barros, was another Seattle Supersonic, man. So, yeah, Seattle has a rich history. And I think if anybody, even before Vegas, Seattle deserves a team before anybody else does. They've got to get a team. There's no doubt in my mind.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, there's no reason why they should have lost the Sonics. If you got a favorite Sonic, or you know what, you followed Seattle back in the day, drop them in the comment. I'd love to hear some of these other names that we forgot.
Remember this shot behind the head?
Oh, man.
Sigma.
Jack Sigma, that's right. Why did
interviewed him 2 years ago, Rudy? It was fantastic.
Why do I remember him on the Bucks?
Yeah, he's really good friends. He was the first the star in Seattle at the center position, and I interviewed him with Paul Mokeski in 2022. Great interview, really nice guy. But Jack could shoot that ball, one of the ugliest shots in the NBA history. But I'll throw myself in there as well. But you're talking about a really, really, really good ball player.
Yeah, man. Forgot about Jack Sigma there. Durant did start in Seattle. Dennis Johnson's another one. Joel Cologne brought up a big one. The X-Man, Xavier McDaniels. I forgot about X-Man there.
Hey,
oh, man.
Like that's first guy ever and probably only to block Xavier's jump shot 3 times in a row. Here I am.
we gotta find the video on that there where you blocking the X-Man shot there
3 times.
Wasn't let's see, who else we can name a couple more Sonics here as we're opening up the vault for Seattle.
Wally
here.
Walker, Fred Downtown, Freddie Brown, Slick Watts.
I know Frank Burkowski was a Sonic.
Frank Burkowski, Jim McIlvain,
Michael Cage.
Yeah. Michael Cage, of course, yes.
Michael Cage was
Derek
Benoit.
McKee. Do you remember Derek McKee?
Yes, I remember Derek McKee from
really good player.
I remember his Pacer days, I think more than I remember his Sonic days when it came to Derek McKee.
Yeah, well, Derek was one of those guys they thought kind of remind me of the way the game is today at the 4th spot.
Yeah.
A guy that could score for you, a guy that could rebound, a guy that could pass, pretty much could do it all. And he could defend.
Yeah, and also Dale Ellis was another
my buddy.
One. Dale Ellis, former Spur as well. Dale Ellis, man. Was Benoit Benjamin a Sonic at one point?
Let me think, because I know Benoit was with the Clippers.
He was with the Clippers.
Let me think, did he get a year? I'm trying to think, because I do remember him having the jersey on that green and that light color white or whatever.
Yeah, he was never
I'm going to say yes, because I remember him being in a Sonic jersey. And I'm going to make sure, because I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah, I'm going to say I think he was, man. Vin Baker's another one. Tim Gonzalez dropping. I love the Sonic. We're talking NBA expansion, and everybody's dropping Sonic players because we're feeling that Seattle's got to get.
Time to bring them back.
Got to bring it back. You got to bring Seattle back. So definitely, and then, you got, like I said, Lenny Wilkins is obviously bringing the first title, and the only title to Seattle. I mean, George Karl as well, legendary Sonics head coach. Tom Chambers, wasn't he a Sonic?
Yes, and Benoit did. I mean, who we're talking about? He spent
Benoit.
2 years in Seattle.
Yeah, Benoit Benjamin.
And that was not one of the years was when I was playing. He spent 1990, 91, and 91, number 92 in Seattle.
There you go, man. So, I mean, yeah, there's ton of Seattle Sonic history there. So hopefully Seattle does get an NBA team, which again, I think they're going to get it. No doubt about it.
Paul Silas, Tim, there we can go on and on. Yeah. They had another guy by the name that used to play with that Lonnie Shelton, Gus Johnson.
Oh, Gus Johnson.
Yes, with the championship team. Yes.
I completely forgot about Gus Johnson, man. So, yeah, I mean, expansion is going to come. Jeff also wanted to know, you think MLS will ever come back to San Antonio and try to court the city of the bridge burn? Is the bridge burn? Or how did MLS get away with their...
Rudy, aren't they going to come back in 2024, 25?
MLS to San Antonio. Let me check.
I thought they were coming back to the Soccer Central in San Antonio. The team is going to be called AC River.
Let me verify that real quick. MLS Next. It's MLS Next is what it's called, to launch the AC River Experience team in San Antonio. So, yeah, we are getting some Major League Soccer in San Antonio now. MLS Next, I don't know if that's maybe a developmental program or what it was, but I know we are getting the AC River expansion team here starting in 2024. So probably later on this year, maybe not 2025. So I think you'll be able to get more professional teams in San Antonio, but a few shows back, we made the mention, you've got to get the right facilities. I love where our current SAFC plays, but it's not MLS standard. I think you got to get something better for MLS, but I think you got to get the facilities first, man. That's the problem.
Rudy, what's wrong with the dome?
There's nothing wrong with the dome, but you can't use it for everything.
We're trying to fill up the place. We've heard Oakland Raiders. We've heard so many teams. Why not bring a soccer team and bring them to a facility you already have that's built off the ground?
Have you seen what the Clippers built? Have you seen what Bomber built in the Clipperland?
Well, if we're comparing it to Clippers,
That's
yeah, but I mean, you got to start somewhere, though. I mean, we don't have Mr. Bomber as the owner. Peter Holt, turned it over to TJ and the daughter. but we don't necessarily have Mr. Bomber here. So, but we have to start somewhere, man. Throw them over there in the Alamo Dome and then let the people support, and then we build a new arena. But we'll already have a team. But you know who doesn't want that? So that's another story.
Yeah, it's usually another story for another day. But, that problem is I don't know if teams want to actually come to San Antonio to go to the Dome. I mean, like I said, they want to come in and they want to have that state-of-the-art arena or stadium or dome. They want to have, everything. They look at, the Spurs are going to get an arena downtown, obviously.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think if the Spurs really wanted a partner, we would already have one, be it in Major League or NFL. I just don't think it's like kind of reminds me of the game Monopoly. And that's what I think the Spurs want to have in San Antonio. I don't think they want that competition.
Yes, and that's exactly what Chris Gonzalez said. He's like, how does Spurs Sports Entertainment not help to get the MLS here? And that's kind of what we say here, Chris, is in order for anything to be successful in San Antonio, SSE's got to be behind it. If Spurs Sports Entertainment is behind it and they are part of the promotion, they are part of the run for it, then it's going to come to San Antonio and it's going to stick for a while. I understand Spurs Sports Entertainment, they were a part of the Rampage. I understand they had the Silver Stars, but again, when you need a major league thing happening, soccer, MLB, NFL, if you get SSE behind it, then you've got the train actually moving. But until SSE gets behind it, Derek, it's kind of not dead in the water, but it's kind of harder to get the train moving without that kind of support.
And the big man at SSE retired about 6, 7, 8 months ago by the name of Joe Clark. So I don't know who's taking over, but I would like soccer here. But the question is, do the Spurs really want soccer here?
I don't know. A lot of people question. I want to get to Detlef Shrimp. We remember him, Chris Gonzalez from the old Seattle days. Sonics may come back, but sadly the records will stay in OKC, and that's terrible. But you know what? The Sonics can get their own records back. They will never be able to take away that title. Tim makes a good thing. I don't think San Antonio can support MLS. Now, that's the key, is that you get the team. We've seen football teams happen. We're one of the best cities when it comes to supporting our local teams, but we've also seen that support go downhill at the same time. Prime example, UTSA. Major support. They had some off seasons and it kind of went down. Jeff Traylor comes in. Frank Harris, we've had some teams, they're very competitive now, so you get the attendance going up. But can they support San Antonio? Can we support another team if it's an expansion team, if it's a struggling team? How long can San Antonio support it? Because remember, ticket prices are going to be high, more than likely. And we're not exactly at the high point of, income-wise. So we saw the Spurs tickets go up. People can't afford them. Can people support a soccer team? Can people support an NFL team? That's always the biggest question.
They only support one NFL team, and we know where they are.
35 North. Way north.
So that might be why we don't have a team. The fans here treat the Cowboys like they are in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not mad at them. But as far as supporting a Major League Soccer team, I know it will be something that once you get it off the ground, people are, like we said, they're going to support at first, but I don't think they could take that gamble. And then after a few months, it kind of fades away, and then all this money is blown. But I would like to see a Major League Soccer team here. But, yeah, I don't think the people would support it as either. I don't think we've heard enough about it. If we start hearing more about it, then that's because more people are on board. But right now, I don't think it would happen either, at least not in the near future.
Yeah, Chris Gonzalez, man, I love that he's really active in the chat. Appreciate you joining in, Chris, so much. Everybody that's in the chat right now, thank you for the comments. Keep leaving them. Again, for those of y'all that are new to Sweep the League, this is a show for the people, by the people. Whatever you guys ever want to talk about, we're here to talk about it. We're not here, to BS around or anything like that. We want to talk sports with you guys. This is y'all's show. We give back to you guys every which way we can. One of the ways to give back is to talk about everything and anything that you guys want to talk about, get our opinions, get your opinions on it. Chris Gonzalez, MLS Next. And that's why I said, was looking at it as a developmental team. We don't really need that. Just move to MLS. Plus, Toyota Field is built for expansion. I've heard that the field is built to expand for expansion. I have heard that. But how big does it have to expand to get MLS to consider San Antonio again to go straight MLS? And then is it okay? It's at a good area. I like the area. It's not really packed. I mean, it's over by Morgan's Wonderland, so it's not horrible, a horrible area. But does it make sense to go like everything else? Put it in the downtown district, put it over here, do over here. Personally, no. I like where it's at. If it can expand over there, I like where it's at. I think MLS will be fine out there.
Gordon Hartman put in a plug for us, my man, so we can get over to Toyota Field since it's right next door. I wouldn't mind seeing soccer. George Gervin Jr., my nephew, is a big soccer fan. Yeah. And his friends, they all love the game. And they play it on there like we do the PlayStation and all that. So they support it. But, yeah, it'd be hard for the people, I think, right now. But the good thing, Rudy, is that, we're becoming more populated. And if we get enough people here that are moving down to San Antonio and then they start, there's a outcry of people want soccer, then it would happen. But right now, that's not what we're hearing, and that's not what's happening.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I think we're going to see a big movement after we start getting the new arena coming. Maybe
an outpouring of people. Let's go.
Yeah, I think it's more of show me what we're going to do, and then we'll get behind it. And I think that's what we're looking at here is let's get the arena built. Let's get everything organized for the current teams that we have. Let's get the missions out of, the Highway 90 area. Bring them to downtown, and then you make that sports district like we mentioned. Then you've got the momentum to say, okay, this is what we can provide. Look at downtown. We're making it now. We're doing it. We're putting sports teams where they belong downtown. So our whole economy's thriving downtown now. So that's kind of where I'm liking it. I think that's when you're right. We're going to see a lot of the talk about MLS, maybe MLB. I want to see MLB. I'd love to get a Major League Baseball team here. Lockdown's back in here. When the NFL Saints were in San Antonio, the San Antonio Spurs PR were not horrible with the media. They were very, very open. I wonder why. I mean, at the time when the Saints were here, obviously it was because of a hurricane. It was because of a natural disaster. They had to have a place to play. So that was the main reason why they were here. And I think Spurs PR was just open with everybody because, I mean, it's something new. It's something, how many media guys can we get here to cover the games? How much media attention can we get? Why? Because in the future, it looks good if the media comes out and supports, the fans come out and support, which they did. The Saints played the Falcons. I was at that game. I love that game. We support stuff, and that's what I love about it. I think that's why, Spurs were open with the Saints. But again, the Saints was never a permanent thing in San Antonio. There's no way.
Rest in peace, Tom Benson. You are not forgotten.
Yeah, exactly. Rest in peace, Tom Benson. Can the city support another pro team because the Spurs are the only team? I believe you can with the right promotion and the right price out. That's where I think it is, because we've talked. I recently, Gio and I mentioned about the fact that, when you want to go to an NFL game, I mean, if you're sitting in the top end, the nosebleed sections, I've seen them as high as like $70, as low as $60, $70. I mean, to go to a game with my family, that's easily maybe $500, $600 just to go watch an NFL game.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's where I said, if you're going to have more pro teams, you've got to be able to balance the pricing somewhere. And I mean, am I complaining? I'm not complaining. I won't ever go to a whole lot of games and pay for it because I just don't have the means and the funds for it. But if you do, hey, you do go get season tickets, do whatever. People do it all the time. So, yeah, I think you can support another team. Definitely. Joel Colum, I would love an MLB team here. That way I can watch my Red Sox here too. Yeah, that's the thing, Derek. MLB in San Antonio. To me, that's the next major start, major push is MLB, because you're starting to get some of the classics, the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Mets.
San Antonio hitters.
The San Antonio hitters. We're ready. I mean,
come on down.
you see a bunch of Yankee fans, you see a bunch of Red Sox fans, you see a bunch of Mets fans. I mean, San Antonio's a melting pot when it comes to baseball. It's not just Astro and Ranger fans. So getting MLB here, holy cow! Those games would sell out. I know.
And before we came on the air, I just was having a conversation about text message with a parent.
Yeah.
And we were he's talking about Mickey Mantle and the experience he had when he met Mickey Mantle. We talking about the former Texas Rangers and the Detroit Tigers. We were just talking about that before I came on the air with you. So maybe we do need baseball down here.
Yeah, man, Detroit Tigers. In my little era of Detroit Tiger baseball when I was growing up, those were the Cecil Fielder days. Jim Leland was the manager. Yeah. Alan Trammell.
Lou Whitaker. Mark the Bird Fidrich. We got to talking about all that stuff.
Golly, man, yeah. Man, Cecil Fielder, I remember when he went out of the park in Detroit, and holy cow, Cecil Fielder. Yeah, that was a hell of a baseball player.
Now, isn't it sad, though, how they talk about, I know Barry and Bobby were great players.
Yeah.
But isn't it amazing how you don't hear as much about Cecil Fielder and Prince, two other amazing players, Prince Fielder and Cecil Fielder, two of the greats.
It's weird how you don't hear about, like Cecil, especially Cecil Fielder. I mean, I was having a conversation the other day, dropping names like, this guy was great. Well, like, hold up. So he wasn't better than a guy like Kirby Puckett. I mean, Kirby Puckett in Minnesota was...
Kirby Puckett was you could do it all, though. That's the utility guy. Kirby Puckett, you need him to hit for power, he could do that. If you need him to field, Kirby Puckett is a different animal you're talking about there, man.
Yeah, Kirby Puckett. I mean, honestly, the all-time greatest hitter that I've seen, and I would almost put him up there as Tony Gwynn. I mean, Jesus, Tony Gwynn. There was a story by, I think John Smoltz was interviewed. It was Smoltz. He said between Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, and Pedro Martinez, all four guys, Tony Gwynn struck out 3 times. Total.
Yeah, I read that. I mean, over 300 some plate appearances or something crazy like that.
3 times. That's how good of a player Tony.
That's that basketball eyes he had at San Diego State.
That's right. He did play some basketball.
Baseball, yeah.
Tim saying UTSA football doesn't sell out because there are more Longhorn fans, and that is a problem. Again, it kind of goes back to what Jeff is saying here. Before we get to Jeff's here, Tim, the city can, but the fans need to change their attitude towards sports teams, both sides, the Spurs, Cowboys, and Longhorns. I think Chris is on the right track, Tim. If you bring in a sports team, San Antonio will support it. Does that mean that you have to not be a Cowboy fan? I mean, no. I've talked to multiple Cowboy fans. I've talked to multiple Texan fans, and they've all said if the San Antonio was to get an NFL team, they would support the San Antonio team. It's an NFL team. Why not? Does it mean that they have to not be Cowboy fans? No, they're still Cowboy fans, but they're going to support the local team as well. So I kind of agree with Chris on that one. Jeff says, do you believe Jerry Jones is holding back San Antonio from getting an NFL team? Before we answer that, Derek, let's go to a quick commercial break. When we get back, we'll talk about whether Jerry's holding the city of San Antonio hostage from NFL, which I really don't think he is. I think he has his 2 cents, but I don't really think he is. Nonetheless, when we get back, it's Hall of Famer Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr. This is Sweep the League, the Wacky Wednesday edition. Our last commercial break right now. We'll be back in just a little bit. Hey guys, are you ready for a flavor explosion? Look no further than La Cocina Taco Truck, serving up the best street tacos and quesadillas in New Braunfels. With a 5-star rating and rave reviews, they're not just a taco truck. They are a taste sensation. La Cocina staff is the best in town and pride themselves on making every customer feel like family. Whether you're feeding a crowd or just satisfying your own cravings, they've got you covered because no order is too big or too small for them there. Louis and his staff are all about customer satisfaction, and they love their community. Don't worry, San Antonio friends. They're just a short trip away to New Braunfels. So why wait? Come visit La Cocina Taco Truck today and taste the difference for yourself. That's La Cocina Taco Truck, where every bite is a fiesta. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Howdy from Texas. You've got to be tired of the sizzling electric bills and the Texas heat, right? Well, partner, we've got the solution for you. Introducing Castro and Son Solar, harnessing the power of the sun to save you some serious cash. Their top-notch solar panels will have you soaking up the savings in no time. Imagine lower electric bills, a reduced carbon footprint, and the satisfaction of going green. Their expert team will take care of everything from installation to maintenance. We're talking hassle-free, worry-free, and stress-free solar solutions. So why wait? Join the solar revolution with Castro and Son Solar. Let the Texas sun shine bright and your savings shine even brighter. Castro and Son Solar, empowering your home one sunbeam at a time. Call them today and let's get this solar party started. Can you imagine a world where nature meets wellness, where every sip you take nourishes your body and soul? Introducing Special Leaf Tea, a line of 100% natural, ready-to-drink iced teas crafted to boost your immunity and energy. With 4 unique flavors to choose from, as in hibiscus blueberry, tangerine ginger, pomegranate blueberry, or the original, you can indulge in the perfect blend of taste and nutrition. Their teas are carefully crafted with 2 times the antioxidants and no added sugar. They're known to help with blood pressure, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, cholesterol, weight management, and even provide natural energy without caffeine. Join the movement towards natural wellness. Order now at www.specialleaf.com and start sipping your way to a healthier, happier you. Special Leaf Tea. Nature in every sip. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Wendy, the king is crowned. Wendy, king is crowned. Future of the league and he's wearing his crown. We playing chess, he's playing checkers, no contest. Wendy's got the game on lock and he's making it statement. I'm talking about Wemby, the next in line. Future of the league and he's shining fine.
All right, welcome back to Sweep the League. That is the Wemby song, and actually, Derek, I don't know if you saw, but they actually got an article written from My San Antonio.
I read it, sir.
Jeff Garcia, Locked On Spurs, wrote an article about the Wemby song that was released by STL and SOTB, Shemaya Reed. Fantastic. It's getting played all over the world.
I saw another name on there that you leaving out.
Does it rhyme with Rudy?
Yeah, I saw that name as well. Rudy Campos Jr., if I'm correct.
Yeah, I had a small part in that with the Wemby song. Shemaya and I kind of tag teamed that one a little bit. And we've got a lot of other songs that we got so many. We want to release them, but we're kind of holding back. We can't release everything right away. I saw
something about like 14 songs or something. I'm like, man, that's huge. Well, you guys on your way because the Wemby song is going to be a hit. I bet Victor's probably heard it by now.
I hope so. I'm gonna have to tag him on a lot of the stuff so that way he can at least maybe use it as the intro song in one game.
He can use it when he comes on the show. Like my brother, when we do the intro, you hear George.
Yeah.
So maybe we can get Wemby on the show.
Man, you know, it's funny, Rich and George, I was thinking the other day, like, man, I'm going to ask Derek, if we can get George in the show, is there any way I can get George to just sit on a throne of ice when he comes on the show and we can just interview him like that? That would be pretty cool. I'll get some
golf instead of the basketballs today. You might have to put a golf club.
You think George would ever go golfing with me? Because I like I said, I can shoot a 90 in like the first 8 holes easily. Like, I'm terrible at golf.
First 8 holes, you're shooting a 90. Hold on now.
That's horrible.
I mean, the next 10 holes, you're shooting 120.
Yeah. My handicap is like, what, 300, 400 probably? Basically, I don't have to show up and I'll still qualify if I'm on the PGA with that.
Well, you should be playing Charles instead of George.
Oh, man.
Even though Barkley's gotten better as well. Even his stroke has gotten a lot better.
Well, Charles is Tiger Woods compared to me.
But he's got, if you notice, he doesn't have that hitch in his swing that he used to have.
Yeah, he does.
It's taken a lot of work, but he's actually gotten better.
He has. I need to go actually golfing again. I've gone a couple of times a long time ago, and it was actually when I was a bigger guy. I'm a lot thinner now, so maybe I can actually get, swing the club right and all that. We'll see. I don't know. We'll definitely see. But this last segment is brought to you by MCS General Contracting. Also brought to you by La Cocina Taco Truck, Castro and Sons Solar, and Special Leaf Tea, all proud sponsors of Sweep the League. So, getting this back in some of the comments here. Jeff was saying from Locked On, do you believe that Jerry Jones is holding SA back from an NFL team? Before we do that, Joel Colon says, Old Tiger Stadium was beautiful. It really was beautiful. It was a landmark for me. That was one of the places I always wanted to go watch a baseball game.
Trumbull Street, Joel, Trumbull.
I definitely would have loved to have seen a game there. Kirby Puckett and Tony Gwynn, rest in peace, gone too soon. Both of them. Yeah, man. Two of the greatest players in baseball history, in my opinion. Do you believe Jerry Jones is holding back to get NFL? So the popular opinion is easily yes. Everybody feels Jerry's holding San Antonio back. He's the reason why they can't get an NFL team in San Antonio. But to be honest, he's not the main reason. He's going to have his 2 cents. He knows if you had a third team in Texas, it's going to be tough to keep that Cowboy support. But nonetheless, he also knows that Cowboy fans are diehard. They're Cowboy fans. They're still going to support Dallas no matter what. But Jerry doesn't have a whole lot to say when it comes to who gets what team. He has a vote, but he doesn't have the deciding vote. So if it makes sense for San Antonio to get an NFL team and actually maybe put it between San Antonio and Austin to where Austin has access to it, you get a big market similar to what Jerry does, because Jerry's the Dallas Cowboys, but they're not in Dallas. I mean, they're between Dallas and Fort Worth. So something similar to that. I don't think Jerry has that much of a say. He has a little bit of input, but I don't think he has that much of a say there.
Man, at this point, Jerry just wants to see a championship with his Dallas Cowboys. I think he's focused on that and boxing more than anything right now. The Cowboys and boxing. I don't think he would be worried about the competition because they still hold that title of America's team.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't care who they bring in, another football team. I don't think that'll affect the Cowboys. Everyone knows the history of the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. And a lot of people in San Antonio, you would think they were from Dallas. So the Cowboys are going to continue to grow. And Jerry and Steven are doing a fantastic job, but I don't think they're worried about competition.
No, they're more worried about trying to sign CD Lamb and Dak Prescott right now and all those guys. But nonetheless, man, I mean, yeah, I don't think Jerry's got a whole lot of say when it comes to bringing a team to San Antonio. He's got input. He definitely has input, but they're America's team for a reason. They're always going to be America's team for a reason. So it doesn't matter if San Antonio gets a team. Hell, put the team in Fort Worth. I don't care. Have them right next
Rudy,
to
let me say this quickly. Now, he could be holding them back because who would be the first owner they would ask about it? It will be Jerry. Jerry seems to have all the other owners. They believe in Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
And he seems to be the guy out of all the owners.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it will be questioned or whatever. They would talk to Jerry, but looking at all the man is about business. He doesn't care. At this point in his career, he's so older. He's getting up there in age now. I think he just wants to win the championship and continue to grow their fan base so he can have another Canelo fight or whatever it may be. And so he's got a lot of different things that he's interested in. Steven might be more interested in bringing a team, having maybe a team around Texas in that Austin area. But I don't think at this point Jerry really cares that much.
Yeah, and Joel, again, him and Chris Gonzalez and everybody else in the chat, they've been bringing the fire tonight. What did more NFL teams mean more revenue for the owners since the league, they get the league revenue cut? Exactly. I mean, if you're able to expand and get another city into the NFL, that's more money, more revenue money for all the owners out there. So that's another reason why Jerry's probably not really he doesn't really care if San Antonio gets a team. He knows that it's a third team in Texas, but who cares? It's more money in Jerry's pocket easily. I mean, think about it. You can have a game against the San Antonio, the San Antonio Gunslingers. We'll use the Gunslingers because it's an old San Antonio team, currently an arena team. But then you go against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, the draw for that game alone in San Antonio, Jerry's just, licking his chops because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of revenue. You're going to see a lot of Cowboy fans, whether they play in the Alamodome or anywhere. You're going to see a ton of Cowboy fans. They're going to be buying up the Dallas merch. You think he's going to take out the Dallas Cowboy shop in River Center Mall? Hell no, he's not. I mean, it's going to stay. So I don't think Jerry does a whole lot, and he would love to have a team in San Antonio because, again, it brings more eyes to the state of Texas, and it brings more teams into Texas because you've got more teams coming into Texas, builds the Texas economy, makes the revenue even perfect for the NFL.
So I know you're younger than me. San Antonio's still mad about Clinton Mangus when he was the owner here, when he was here with the Gunslingers. So I don't even think we recovered from that yet. The Gunslingers, whatever, what happened to them.
Yeah.
But I would love to see. I think a lot of people here would support football. I know I would.
Yeah.
But you always got the question of, some of the stuff that goes around in the NFL. I'm sure they've talked about it. There's reasons that it hasn't happened yet, but I mean, who knows? In the future, we just stay positive, and maybe one day, NFL football will be coming to San Antonio.
I really think it happens. And, if I had to put a timestamp on it, I'm going to say give me 2029, 2030 when I think we may start to see a team come in. You'll probably hear rumblings in the next maybe 4 years, maybe 3 years. You'll hear some rumblings. But as early as 2029, 2030, I think that's when we may see an NFL team starting to talk about coming. You always hear about the Raiders. I mean,
where did they go, right? That's the one team I kept thinking about as you're talking. With the Oakland Raiders, we had them coming here and practicing or whatever, and now look where they're at, though. They chose the bigger market, I guess. If you want to call it a bigger market, they chose Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, the other, if you had to go with a current NFL team, oh, man. I mean, you're probably looking at maybe Jacksonville is a team?
I was going to say them or even Carolina. Carolina's not. Yeah, I would probably not say Jacksonville because I think with Trevor Lawrence, they're going to continue to get better and the support is going to continue to grow. I would be looking more of a team like Charlotte. For me, I would.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Carolina would be a good one as well. And the geographical area wouldn't matter. The Patriots represent the 6 states of New England, and they are huge there. They really are. I mean, the Patriots are big, obviously, especially during the Super Bowl runs. They were big. But I think a team in Texas, another team for San Antonio, especially, like I said, if you can build it downtown San Antonio, that's fine. I don't mind it. You can use the Alamodome. Ideally, I've always said you want to try to get it north of San Antonio, midway if you can, not midway, but somewhere north because you want to drive that Austin crowd, that New Braunfels, the San Marcos crowd. You want to get all those people involved in it to make it that much more of a success. That's just my opinion. More than likely, they're going to put it. Hopefully, they don't put it on Highway 90. Hopefully, they learn from the missions. A mistake there, but if they put it downtown San Antonio, it's not a problem with me at all. Downtown San Antonio is fine, but I think you'll see a lot of success here. There's no doubt about that if you were to have an NFL team. But wasn't the Alamodome made for the NFL? It was made for the NFL. Red McCombs, if you build it, they will come. Built the Alamodome, but again, the Alamodome is so old compared to SoFi Stadium and Jerry World. And you've got to me, you can keep the dome, but you're going to have to gut the inside.
A refurbished Alamodome, yeah. Yeah,
you're going to have to gut the inside and update everything inside to bring it up to current NFL stadiums. Again, these are our opinions. This is what we feel should happen if you want to attract an NFL team, you've got to update it. The dome's fine on the outside. I don't care less. People hate it because it looks like a big barn. I don't care. But the inside, you've got to do major upgrades in the inside in order for an NFL team to kind of peek through the blinders and say, okay, I see what you're doing, San Antonio. I think that's what's got to happen, Derek.
I agree.
The dome was already outdated when it was completed. Exactly. It's kind of like when you buy a car.
Yeah,
Joel's right.
Joel, you're right. Joel, I can't say you're wrong.
No, man. It's like driving a car. You buy the car, you drive it off the lot. It's already outdated, man. It's already out buying a computer. The moment you get home and plug it in, it's done. It's outdated. So you're right, the dome. And that's the thing. I don't mind if it's going to cost, $40 million to upgrade the inside, $50 million to bring it to updated standards. Whatever, just do it. I think if you update it and you bring it up to modern times, that's what the NFL's looking at. They're saying, how can you make an NFL team work? Well, the best thing to do is update the Alamo Dome. That's where I think it stands all completely, man. Derek, I got a question before we go here. So I was actually DM'd this, and pretty cool thing. They want to know if you and I and Coach Gio, who's not here, he's going to be here tomorrow, but they want to know if you could get guys that we haven't mentioned before on the show out of any sport to interview. Who would be your favorite interview? Like two or three people you want to talk to?
Wow. That's a great one. Well, for me, the first one would be obvious, Victor Wembanyama.
That's a big one.
That would be mine. And today, man, I'm kind of an older guy. So I know a lot of people, when it comes to baseball, my favorite baseball player of all time is Reggie Jackson, who also wore number 44 like George.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be Victor Wembanyama first, Reggie Jackson. And then, man, the last one, for me, it would probably be this kid that just came in for the soccer, the 14-year-old. I watched him do an interview. This new kid that's the new Freddie Adu that actually played in the game last week.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the 14-year-old kid?
I'm not familiar with the 14-year-old.
Yeah, they got a 14-year-old kid that's playing for our soccer team now, the pros. And he would be my third guy. I have to look up his name. But that would be my three, Victor, Reggie Jackson, and this new 14-year-old kid that's great. Take over the scene. It looks like USA Soccer.
That could be the turning point for USA Soccer that we mentioned. I mean, they got to get somebody that can turn it around. That's a lot of people in the chat are talking about USA Soccer.
His name is Cavan, Cavan, Cavan Sullivan is his name.
Kevin Sullivan. Okay. Yeah, I what's funny is the DM that I got, they said, Rudy, you can't mention, the obvious. You can't mention Mark Price and Brad Daugherty and all these guys because you mention them all the time, or Joseph Forte. I'm like, fine. One guy, and I actually reached out to him, and you know about it too. Hopefully we can hear back from him. One of them was Mario Ellie. I reached out to him. I think Mario would be a fun interview to have and a fun guy to talk to, in my opinion, is Mario.
You want me to ask him? I told you I still talk to Mario. We're on Facebook. He talks on my page.
Yeah.
He was on there recently. But if you want to get Mario, I'll ask him.
You know what's funny? I'm going to let everybody know a secret. Mario actually sent me a DM a little while ago before the show started. So he answered back. So we're seeing if we can make that happen.
Hey, I got a friend used to play with Seattle. We talked about the Supersonics. So I got a friend that played, and he played with Mario in the CBA. Their coach was Phil Jackson. His name is Vincent Askew.
I remember Vincent Askew.
Yeah, Vince played at Memphis, University of Memphis, the Tigers at that time. And they always talk about, I played against them in the CBA, and they were with the Albany Patroons, and I was playing in Santa Barbara. That's the year the Nets picked me up. And so I scored 49, and to this day, Vince always says that most of them were on Mario. So we've had that going on for the last 25, 30 years. Who were the most points scored on? Was it Vince or was it Mario? So, yeah, we still have some good stories. And Mario's a really good guy. And I think that he was more than welcome coming on the show.
Yeah, Mario, I've really got the one question I definitely would ask Mario is the fact of, the Memorial Day miracle shot. Everybody remembers Sean Elliott, but people forget that was a tough pass. you had to inbound the ball, and he made a great pass to Sean Elliott to set him up for that shot. So I would love to get into his head on that and say, like, man, you know, making that pass, it was awkward. It was in an awkward position. How hard was it to make that kind of pass? So yeah, definitely that would be one person that I definitely was. The other guy I want to talk to, and it's kind of weird that I mentioned him because he's actually coming out a lot more recently, and that's Sean Kemp, former Seattle guy, the Rain Man himself. I mean, I hear him talking. He's real mellow. He's real, you know, down to the point, but he could have some crazy stories, man. Hey, take us back your thought process when you were driving down the lane and you just threw it down on Chris Gatling. You know, you put him on a poster. Alton Lister's another one that you put on a poster. Everybody you put on a poster, man. It's like, if I was to put a poster for every time Kemp dunked on somebody, my office would be full of Sean Kemp stuff, man.
We asked Chris Gatling what was going through his mind.
Oh, man.
Chris Gatling played in the All-Star game down here. One of my friends used to play with me at UTSA, Robert Wallace, had a game at St. Mary's.
Okay.
And Chris Gatling was playing, and then my old teammate, Chris Morris, they were on this team, and then we asked Gatling what made him shake Kemp's hand, man.
That's a good question, man. That's an awesome question. That would be awesome to ask Chris, because when he got dunked on, if you remember, Gatling was like shaking his head, like, "Yeah, you got me, and they shook hands, man. I guess it was out of respect.
This guy here, man, I'm writing him right now. That's Mario.
Oh, okay. Mario, let him know I sent them an email.
I think the fans will love that as well. We could talk about some of those days when he was playing and how gritty he was. If you look at Mario and Alvin,
yeah,
we're talking about two guys that represent San Antonio as far as just they're going to bring it every single minute they're on the floor. And so it's been nice for me to even get to talk to Mario. He knows a few of my friends. And even had conversations with him in 2024, man. It's a fantastic thing. All about relationships.
Yeah, it is, man. Mario, like I said, the one type of player the Spurs are missing on their current team is a Mario Elie type of player. Hey, get in your face. And they're actually getting it with Chris Paul this season. Yeah. I mean, a guy that's going to get in your face, make sure the team is right. They're focused, get everybody in the right position. One that doesn't hold back. So I'm looking to see how much Chris Paul actually helps the San Antonio Spurs. But yeah, Mario's one that I definitely would.
While you talking about Mario, I can't slight my other teammate because he put it all on the line as well. And he did well in San Antonio. And now he's the associate head coach at Incarnate Word, and that's Jaren Jackson Sr.
Oh, wow. Jaren Jackson Sr. He is the associate head coach at Incarnate Word. You're all right. I forgot about that. Wow, man, I forgot about Jaren Jackson Sr. That would be another good one to have too. I mean, his title run with the Spurs. I mean, he has a son playing for Memphis. Yeah, that would be a really, really good one as well. I've always talked about getting, you know, because I'm a point guard guy. I've always been a point guard guy from Stephon Marbury to Kenny Anderson to hell, man, even Muggsy Bogues.
Mark Price. Don't leave out Mark Price, one of your favorites. One of my favorites as well.
I was told to not say Mark Price because I say him.
I'm saying it. I'm a Mark Price. I'm a Mark Price fan, even at Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech was point guard wasn't it, for a while there? Mark Price, Kenny Anderson, Marbury, Travis Best.
Yeah.
Man, that was a hell of a time for was Bobby Cremins the coach for all of them?
I think Bobby was there for a moment. Let me think.
He was there for Anderson, Marbury. Was he there for Price?
Bobby Cremins. I'm going to say Bobby. Bobby was there several. I'm going to say he coached all those guys. Man, maybe Mark Price, I don't know. My only question would be Mark Price.
Yeah, because I know he coached Kenny, he coached Stephon, and I know he coached Travis Best. But I don't remember if he was there for Mark Price, though. That's the thing. But yeah, I mean, Georgia Tech was point guard for a while there, man. That's crazy. I know one time.
Leaving out somebody. Must be Craig Neal.
As far as point guards for Georgia Tech?
Yeah, Craig Neal. You remember Craig Neal?
I do remember Craig Neal, yeah. I do remember. Yeah, Creighton. Yeah, you're right. But like I said, I don't remember how far Mark Price went. If he was under the Crimmins coaching staff or tutelage of Bobby Crimmins. I'm trying to think. You know, I will say in the interview world, I was blessed to talk to Sean Elliott, and I asked Sean two of the questions I've always wanted to ask him. Remember, this will be the last part here because we got to get going. But I asked Sean, hey, you know, we understand you had the surgery. You came back from the surgery. You came back against the Atlanta Hawks. You had that thunderous dunk going down the lane. Just getting a moment like that, you know, back into the NBA. One of your biggest plays coming back in that first game was that dunk that you had on Atlanta. It was explosive. He explained that, you know, it was a great interview. And then the other question I had asked him was, you played under Pop. And I know how that went. Obviously, it was a success. But my biggest thing was, what about playing under a coach like Lute Olson? To me, Lute Olson was one of those coaches where if I had an opportunity to play college ball, Arizona was on my list to play for Lute Olson. I mean, it's just something about certain coaches that you and I have talked about anytime.
He had that calm demeanor. He almost reminded me of a Tom Landry type. Just take off the hat.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, laid back. But all the guys talk well. I have a friend that I played against in Turkey by name of, Pete. I can't even tell you Pete's. I won't tell you his last name, but I'll just say he's a friend of mine. Pete played for Lute Olson. I'll say his name. Okay, Pete Williams. And Pete still today talks about Lute. Talks very, very highly of Lute and all the lessons that he learned as a human being, more so than basketball. He talks about how Lute took him under his wing and was like a secondary father. He wasn't his birth father, but he took all his players under his wing. So he still talks very highly of Lute Olson today.
Yeah, Lute Olson, man. I mean, that's one of the coaches that I would have loved to play under if I was ever having an opportunity to college. Obviously, Dean Smith was number one. I would have loved to have played under Dean Smith. It's kind of weird because I think even with Lute Olson, when you hear Bill Walton talk, and you hear him, you know, talking about, you know, his experiences and, you know, the coaches that he went through, it's almost like Bill Walton was one of those guys I wish I could have sat down and talked to because as crazy as Bill was, you know, the human being side of Bill Walton.
I love him. I'm still sad about his passing. I'm a huge fan of his, and it didn't bother me when he talked about the Grateful Dead, because Bill talks a lot about history. And Bill, when they talk about very intelligent players like a Jaylen Brown, Bill Walton fits that mold as well. Very intelligent guy, had a lot of stories. He will be missed forever, and he's definitely missed in I miss him a lot. And I mean, you're talking about a great guy, a great person, and a great basketball player.
Yeah, he's one that I would have definitely wished we would have had a chance to talk to, whether it had been on the radio or anybody else. And, you know, it's funny, Joel Colon's still in here. He says, I really enjoyed Walton on broadcast. I loved Bill Walton on the broadcast. I always tuned into games, whether it be college or NBA. And if I'm not mistaken, Bill was on the call with Steve Snapper Jones a couple of times. I mean, the games that Walton called were great, man. Like, they were awesome. And he would give you, you know, he would describe plays in no other way that Bill Walton can describe, you know, and then he would do the crazy antics on the side at the announce table. So, yeah, I enjoyed Bill Walton a whole lot, man. And I kind of get the same type from listening to Hubie Brown, just without, of course, the antics. But Hubie is amazing to listen to when it comes to basketball. I've actually heard him talk about basketball and coaching. I was lucky enough to hear him talk one time, and you just sit there and listen.
Man, you just sit in the chair, man. Give me a grandfather chair, one of them chairs, and I could just sit there. I don't even have to talk. Just listen to Hubie talk about his days back in the day period. And, you know, he had a brother as well by name of Herb Brown.
Yeah. Herb Brown, yeah. I mean, Hubie was, you're right, man. Just get him a rocking chair and just let me sit back. He can have a cup of tea and I can have a cup of tea or whatever. Just kind of sit back, listen to him. Yeah. Listen to him talk, and Joel's agreeing 100%. How Hubie is great. Hubie is great. Those are a lot of guys that we would have loved to have talked to. I mean, some of them we can still have the opportunity to talk to, but one thing about us here at Sweep the League, we like to talk a lot of history. We like to bring everybody to the forefront of history. I mean, what you see today is today's game. But what a lot of people don't know is that the past game was just as great and just as dominant, just as successful, and just as popular, and means just as much to us as today's game does. So that's why we talk a lot about it. But nonetheless, man, we're going to end the show right now. Derek, big weekend. We've got David Mullins, local comedian, on Saturday. I'm supposed to be out there, weather permitting. I hear it's supposed to be raining like cats and dogs. So
Friday and Saturday are our biggest chances for rain the rest of this week.
Yeah, so if we make it, we got the tickets. So hopefully we'll be able to make it out there to see David Mullins, local comedian. He's going to be over at the Josephine Theater. We're actually going to have David on, I think, on Friday for a little bit, the day before, so we can kind of promote his gig again. He was on with us last time. Really, really funny guy. But we'll be back tomorrow with Derek and myself, and Coach Gio should be back tomorrow as well. We'll talk some NFL with Coach Gio. He's chomping at the bit because he's texting me and he's tweeting me, Derek, all day about Daniel Jones's struggle in the New York Giants training camp. So we're going to have to let Gio just win a couple of rounds on the Daniel Jones era there. We got to let him
Let's go, Daniel. I hope you, man, make some people eat their words. Remember now, I'm still a New Jersey Net guy, so I want to see the Giants do well.
Yeah, but if you saw the throw that I saw today, you would probably say, like, all right, Daniel, I don't know what you're thinking, Danny boy, but
elaboration, man. Shake it off and he'll be better the next day.
Well, I love what they said. It's only day one and it was raining. That's why he had a tough day. I don't know about that, man. I think you've been playing in the rain for quite a while, but nonetheless, man, hey, thanks for everybody for joining us tonight. We were at 45 plus strong tonight on the stream. Appreciate you joining us on a Wacky Wednesday edition for Hall of Famer Derek Gervin. It is I'm going to go back in time, Derek. It's the sports break kid, the rated R sports star, Rudy Campos Jr. So if I can't be Hall of Famer, I can be that. I can definitely.
You're a Hall of Famer in my mind, my man.
I appreciate that. Derek May, let's go, Pats. Hey, Derek May is a guy we're going to be talking about here pretty soon. Don't forget, NFL coverage is starting up this week, the end of this week, and early next week. Jill Jelnick from the Tennessee Titans. She covers them. We're going to have Jill on pretty soon here to talk Tennessee Titans. We've got a lot of NFL talk coming up. So for Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr. until we sweep the league again tomorrow. We'll see you later, knuckleheads.
Everybody have a good night.